The golden sun rose over Babylon, casting its light across the tall walls and beautiful gardens. King Nebuchadnezzar stood on his palace roof, his robe flowing in the wind. His city stretched out before him, strong, powerful, and full of life. He smiled with pride. "Look at what I have built," he said to himself. "Babylon, the great city, by my power and for my glory." The king had seen many victories in his life. He had conquered lands, built wonders, and ruled over nations. But something strange was happening to him now. Though everything looked perfect, his heart felt uneasy. That night, as he lay on his golden bed, staring at the ceiling, sleep finally came, and with it, a dream. It was not just any dream. In the dream, the king saw a great tree. It was tall and strong, reaching up to the sky. Its leaves were green and beautiful. Its branches spread wide, and birds made their nests in it. Animals gathered under it for shelter. The tree gave food and shade to the whole world. But suddenly, a holy messenger came down from heaven. "Cut down the tree," the voice thundered. "Trim its branches, strip its leaves, scatter its fruit. Let the animals run away and the birds fly off. But leave the stump in the ground, bound with iron and bronze. Let it stay among the grass of the field. Let him live like an animal, drenched with dew, eating grass like cattle. His mind will be taken, and he will be like a beast for 7 years, until he learns that the Most High God rules over all kingdoms and gives them to whomever he chooses." The king woke up shaking. Sweat dripped from his face. He couldn't breathe. His guards rushed in. "Your Majesty, are you all right?" Nebuchadnezzar sat up, rubbing his eyes. "I had another dream. I must know what it means." The next day, the king called together all the wise men of Babylon, magicians, astrologers, and dream interpreters. He told them the dream, but none could explain it. Their faces were blank. Their voices were quiet. "I need Daniel," the king finally said. "Bring Belteshazzar." Daniel, the servant of the Most High God, was brought into the throne room. He stood humbly before the king. His eyes were gentle but full of wisdom. "I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in you," the king said. "Tell me what this dream means. No one else can." Daniel bowed his head. "Tell me the dream, O king, and I will ask God to help me understand." As the king shared the dream again, Daniel's face changed. He became quiet. His eyes grew sad. Something in his heart knew this dream was a warning. A message from heaven. A message the proud king might not be ready to hear. Daniel stood silent. The golden walls of the throne room glimmered in the sunlight, but the air was heavy with tension. King Nebuchadnezzar watched Daniel closely. He saw the concern on his face, the sadness in his eyes. "Belteshazzar," the king said, using Daniel's Babylonian name, "don't let the dream or what it means trouble you. Speak freely. I trust you." Daniel took a deep breath. He had served this king for many years. He had seen his anger, his pride, and also his strength. But this message was not from Daniel. It was from the Most High God. "My lord the king," Daniel began gently, "I wish the dream were about your enemies, not you. But this dream is a warning from heaven." Nebuchadnezzar leaned forward. Everyone in the court was silent. "The tree you saw," Daniel said, "represents you. You have become great and strong. Your power reaches far. You have provided shelter and protection to many nations. Just like that tree, you stand tall in the world." The king's eyes flickered with pride for a moment, but he remained quiet. "But the holy messenger you saw," Daniel continued, "was sent from heaven to bring a message. The tree will be cut down, and so will your power. You will be driven away from people and live like an animal. You will eat grass like cattle and sleep in the open, wet with dew. You will lose your royal mind, and this will go on for 7 seasons, 7 years, until you finally understand that the Most High rules over all kingdoms and gives power to whomever he wishes." Daniel's voice softened. "But, O king, the stump that is left means your kingdom will not be destroyed completely. It will be kept for you, if you learn the lesson God is trying to teach you." Nebuchadnezzar looked stunned. His proud heart had never heard such words before. Daniel stepped closer and bowed deeply. "Please, my king, accept my advice. Turn away from your sins. Do what is right. Show kindness to the poor. Perhaps if you humble yourself now, God may choose to delay or lessen this judgment." The king's hands tightened on his golden throne. He did not answer. His eyes stared past Daniel, into the distance, where the tall towers of Babylon shone proudly in the sun. Inside his heart, a battle was beginning. Would he humble himself before the God of heaven? Would he change his ways? Or would pride still rule in the heart of the king? Daniel slowly stepped back. He had delivered the message. He had done his part. Now, only time would tell if the king would listen. As Daniel walked away, he looked back one last time. He prayed quietly, "O Lord, have mercy on him. Let him see before it's too late." And so, the warning from heaven was given. But would it be obeyed? 1 year passed. The sun still shone over Babylon. The rivers still flowed, the gardens still bloomed, and King Nebuchadnezzar still ruled over the land. The dream and Daniel's warning faded in the king's mind like a forgotten whisper. His days were filled with riches, music, and praise. The city remained strong, and the king remained proud. Then one evening, as the king walked on the roof of his royal palace, he looked over the city with a proud smile. The air was warm, and golden light fell on the hanging gardens, the grand temples, and the shining streets. He raised his arms wide and said aloud to no one in particular, "Is this not the great Babylon I have built as my royal home, by my mighty power and for the glory of my majesty?" His voice echoed off the palace walls. In that very moment, as the last word left his mouth, a voice from heaven thundered across the sky. "O King Nebuchadnezzar, to you it is spoken, the kingdom has been taken from you. You will be driven away from people. You will live among the wild animals and eat grass like cattle. 7 times will pass over you, until you learn that the Most High rules over the kingdoms of men and gives them to whomever he chooses." The king froze. His hands trembled. His eyes widened. Something strange was happening in his mind, like a storm had entered his thoughts. He stumbled backward. He tried to speak, but his words came out broken. His royal robes felt heavy. The golden crown fell from his head. Guards rushed toward him, but the king cried out in a wild voice and fled into the night. They searched for him. But Nebuchadnezzar, the great king, was gone. Days passed. Rumors spread across Babylon. Some said the king had gone mad. Others said he had run into the wilderness like a wild beast. The palace gates remained shut. His throne sat empty. His royal seal untouched. In truth, the once proud king now wandered in the fields like an animal. His hair grew long like eagle feathers. His fingernails curled like the claws of a bird. He no longer lived among people. He no longer spoke with wisdom. His mighty mind was gone. He ate grass like cattle, crawling on the ground. The dew soaked his back every morning. His eyes no longer saw the glory of his kingdom, they only stared at the dirt and sky. And yet, even in this brokenness, God watched over him. The stump had been left in the ground. The kingdom was not taken from him forever. But the lesson had begun. Nebuchadnezzar, the man who thought he was above all, had become the lowest of all. And so, the dream came true. Every word spoken by the Most High was fulfilled. But this was not the end of the story. It was the beginning of a new one, a story of change, of humility, and of a heart that would soon lift its eyes toward heaven. Time passed slowly in the fields. Day after day, Nebuchadnezzar lived like a wild animal. His royal robes were long gone. His body, once strong and respected, was now thin and dirty. He no longer spoke like a man. His voice was rough. His words made no sense. He had forgotten who he was. But God had not forgotten him. The wind whispered through the tall grass. The stars still appeared at night. The sun still rose every morning, casting light over the broken king. And though the world had forgotten his name, heaven was still watching. Each day, Nebuchadnezzar crawled through the fields, eating grass like the cattle. Each night, he lay under the open sky, drenched in dew. He no longer had servants, or music, or feasts. He had no throne, no power, no pride. But deep inside, something began to change. The proud thoughts that once filled his heart started to fade. The anger, the greed, the self-glory, slowly, painfully, they were being replaced by something else. Something new. Something soft. One night, as he lay in the field and looked up at the stars, something stirred in his heart. He blinked. He stared longer at the sky. For the first time in years, his thoughts became clear. His heart beat calmly in his chest. His hands touched the ground beside him, and he whispered, not as a king, but as a man. The heavens declare the glory of God. His voice was weak, but real. Tears filled his eyes. He looked up and spoke again. I was proud. I forgot you, O God. I thought I was in control. I believed the kingdom was mine alone. But now I see, I was wrong. He fell on his knees. The stars twinkled above him, and the wind carried his prayer into the night. I lift my eyes to heaven. You alone are the Most High. You alone rule over the kingdoms of men. You give power to whomever you choose. Forgive me. Suddenly, like a heavy cloud lifting, his mind became fully clear. He gasped. The madness was gone. His thoughts were no longer wild. His heart was calm. His soul felt whole. The curse had ended. The 7 years were over. Nebuchadnezzar stood slowly, his body trembling. He looked around, not with pride, but with awe. He looked upward, not with anger, but with worship. And then, for the first time in a long time, he smiled, not because of what he had, but because of what he had learned. Far away, in the city of Babylon, the guards noticed something unusual. A figure was walking toward the palace gates. Dirty, wild, but familiar. Could it be? It was the king. But he was not the same. The old Nebuchadnezzar had fallen. A new man was rising, one who had been humbled by heaven and touched by the hand of God. The palace gates opened slowly. Servants and guards stood in shock as they saw the figure walking toward them. His clothes were torn, his hair tangled like feathers, and his face weathered by years in the wild. But his eyes were full of light. It was Nebuchadnezzar. The mighty king, once feared across nations, then forgotten, had returned. Bring water, someone whispered. Fetch clean clothes, another called. But Nebuchadnezzar raised his hand gently. No rush. Let me see my city. Let me see the place I once ruled and misunderstood. As he entered the palace, Daniel came forward with tears in his eyes. My king, he said softly. Nebuchadnezzar smiled and placed his hand on Daniel's shoulder. Your God is the true God. I didn't understand before. I see it now, Daniel. Everything you said came to pass. Daniel nodded, humbled by the sight of a changed man. The palace rooms were cleaned. The royal robe was placed on the king's shoulders once more. His hair was trimmed, and the crown returned to his head. But this time, Nebuchadnezzar didn't walk in pride. He walked in peace. He looked out over Babylon again, but not with the same heart. This city is beautiful, he said, but it is not mine. It was never mine. It is a gift, a responsibility. I am only a man, and the Most High God is the true king. The people rejoiced. His counselors returned to serve him. His nobles welcomed him with joy. The kingdom was restored, not because of his strength, but because of God's mercy. Days later, Nebuchadnezzar stood before the people of every land and nation under his rule. A new decree was written and spread across the empire. But this one was not about war, or power, or control. It was a message of testimony. To all peoples, nations, and languages who live on the earth, he wrote, may your peace be multiplied. I want to tell you what the Most High God has done for me. His signs are great. His wonders are mighty. His kingdom is everlasting. His rule continues from generation to generation. He paused, then added the words that no one expected to hear from a king. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was once full of pride. I walked in arrogance, believing I ruled by my own strength. But God humbled me. He showed me that heaven rules, not man. He took away my power and gave me back my mind. I lived like an animal, but now I live again as a man." His voice trembled. "I praise and honor the King of Heaven. Everything he does is right. All his ways are just. And those who walk in pride, he is able to humble." The crowd was silent, moved not by the king's authority, but by his honesty. And so, a proud king became a humble servant. Not by force, but by grace. Reflecting on the story. Let's take a moment and think about this story, not just as history, but as a mirror. King Nebuchadnezzar had everything: power, success, and praise from people. But he forgot where it all came from. He let pride take root in his heart, and he began to believe that he was in control of everything. Sound familiar? Sometimes, we do the same thing. When things are going well, our work, our relationships, our plans, it's easy to think, "I did this all by myself." We forget to pause and give thanks to the one who gave us the strength, the talent, the opportunity, and even the breath in our lungs. But what's powerful about this story is not just the fall, it's the restoration. God didn't give up on Nebuchadnezzar. Instead, he humbled him with love. It may seem harsh, but sometimes being brought low is what saves us from destroying ourselves. It's in those moments, when we feel lost, small, or broken, that we can finally see clearly. We are not the center of the universe, and that's actually a good thing. Because when we bow our hearts to God, we begin to walk in peace. So here's the real heart of the story. True strength isn't about being powerful or praised. It's about being humble, thankful, and willing to learn. Let this be a gentle reminder for us all. Are we taking credit for what God has done? Are we treating others with pride, or with kindness? Are we walking in humility, or pretending to be in control? If your answer stings a little, it's okay. That means your heart is still soft. Just like the king, we can turn things around. So today, pause, reflect, and choose humility. Because the God who humbles also restores, and he does it with love. You don't have to fall to learn. Sometimes, just listening is enough. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more inspiring Bible stories. Comment below, what lesson did you learn from King Nebuchadnezzar's journey? Let's grow in wisdom together.